How is everybody doing?
Good.
All right. Awesome. Here, I'll open up the chat 1 second. So, how to succeed as a professional esports player? I've been playing games all my life. I started with CS 1.6 when I was about, I don't know, 10 maybe. And my cousin Travis, he introduced me to CS. I played on his old PC, Windows XP, and I fell in love immediately with FPS games. I couldn't get enough of it. So, I immediately went to the local future shop, bought myself a Counter-Strike package. You used to have to buy CDs. You couldn't download. You could download from Steam, but the internet wasn't as good back then. So you'd have to go in and buy the CDs. I bought my CS CD, went home, shot it in, took 3 hours to install, and started from there. I started with 1.6, went to Source. From Source, I went to a game called Crossfire, Combat Arms, AVA, Soldier Front 1, Soldier Front 2. Uh, you know, any FPS game you could think of, man, I've played that. You meet a lot of good people, a lot of friends. I know a lot of you guys probably know about Baby Bay. I met him on Crossfire 12 years ago, and we've been good like friends ever since. We've kept in touch. We always haven't played games together and stuff, but we still kept in touch over all that time. Your online friends, those be friends for life if you want to, and you never know, because one day you might end up on a team with them, and on an organization. You really never know where life takes you. I know a lot of you guys are in school, right? I think David told me a lot of you guys are from the age of 13 to 18, and I want to give you guys a little bit of advice that I wish I could have told myself when I was younger, so I didn't have to take the harder route, especially in school. Because my grade 12 year, I was not, I was not the amazing student at all. I had skipped a lot of class, a lot of class. I ended up getting kicked out of my school. I had to go to another school. They offered me a program where I could go to school and take welding as well. I got my diploma, and then I also got my first year welding. So I did that for a little bit. I didn't like it, so I stopped welding, and I was like, well, what do I like to do? I like to be hands-on with stuff. Maybe I wanna help people a little bit. So I got my EMT. EMT, not for me. Blood, guts. I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy. Meanwhile, I'm still gaming. CS:GO had just came out at that time as well, like fully. I pull up the CS:GO. I'm playing a lot of ESEA, and this is like kind of my first time ish getting into CS like fairly competitively. So I only went to about like IM. ESEA IM is like, you're okay, you're pretty good, but you're not like quite there yet. At that time, I was like, well, I got to go back to school. Like, I can't just sit here and play IM. Time waits for no one. You really got to get on it. So I went back to school, took an emergency management course or diploma. Ended up doing that for 2 years, and it was okay. A lot of papers, but I learned a lot of like good discipline within that program about being prepared for things, how to recover, how to respond to things, stuff like that. Management roles where I could plug myself in and figure things out for people. And emergency management, if you guys didn't know, is like FEMA. So like hurricanes, stuff like that. And I realized like not really my thing either. Emergency management showed me how to use a lot of different programs, which would be like Excel, Word, mainly Excel, which helps me plot and plan things out. It gave me like logical reasoning to understand how to like work around certain things. So when I look at Valorant and I look at the game, I like to break it down in parts, right? So why does the person do this? What is his reaction? What do I think his reaction is going to be? If we do this, what is the response going to be to that? Are we prepared for that? Okay, well, how do we recover if we lose this person? In our team, we like to call them protocols, right? So, we have an A strat. Our A strat fails. What's the protocol if the A strat fails? Okay, we do this. If this fails, what do we do then? If we're down 3v5, what's the protocol? There are a lot of different things that you can learn from school that you can implement into your gameplay. And if you can combine that with having good aim, you're like fields above the rest of everybody else. I have dreams of going pro, but I'm silver. Do you have tips for people like me who want to go pro? This is the way I like to explain learning the game. Let's say that each rank is a grade, right? So let's say bronze and or iron is kindergarten. Bronze is grade 1, silver is grade 2, etc., etc., right? Let's say in grade 1, what do you learn to do? Okay, well, you learn to start tracing letters. You don't know how to write sentences yet. You don't know how to write out words. You might not even know what some words are. What you're doing is you trace out letters, right? S, S, right? Okay, well, now you can write letters out. Well, let's learn how to write out words. You know, you write out apple, A-P-P-L-E, right? And you write it out 50 times. Now that you know how to write words, you can write sentences. I like apples, right? And now after you write sentences, you write paragraphs. After you've gotten all that together, you start writing stories, right? So how am I relating this to the game? Well, there's a basic formula to, you know, getting good at FPS. You have your crosshair placement, positioning, utility usage, you have communication. I'm probably missing a lot of some other stuff as well. You have to figure out where you are on the timeline. You know, what grade are you in Valorant? Okay, you're silver, so maybe you're good at writing out apples, right? But you're not quite at the part where you're able to write sentences yet. So how do you get yourself to go from apples to I like apples? Maybe you're good at aiming, but you're not good at positioning yourself to where your team is at, right? So you gotta put yourself there and figure that out.
Hello, my name is Juan Sanchez. I go in game by clits. I'm gold 2 right now, and my question is that I feel like I have a mental block right now. I see my teammates improving, but I feel like I'm not improving at all. Like I'll do well in matches, and comp talking, I'm not improving, and in scrims I think they improving more than I am. What should I do?
Okay, so what I would do is I would record, if you have the ability, record yourself playing. And this is like something that we used to do way back when we had like computers that could hardly run games at like 60 FPS. I would get my mom's camcorder and point it at my screen and I would record myself playing and watch it back and be like, okay, so like what I do wrong? This is like studying, right? Like this is your own VOD review. And pros do this stuff all the time. It's like very important, especially self-learning in games like this. So what I would do is I would record yourself play and be critical of yourself. You know, even if you have a round where you get a 5K, there's always something that you can do better. You know, maybe it was a piece of utility that you forgot that you could have used. Maybe it was a spot where you could have peeked around a corner a little bit better. There are always things that you can do to improve your game. You know, the best rounds and the worst rounds. You know, figure it out, write it down, and I guarantee you the next time you're in that situation, your mind will be like, oh, I've seen this before, I've thought about it, and there's a better way to do this. And that's the hands down best way you can improve. It's the hardest way to improve for a lot of people because it is very hard to be critical of yourself and take the time to sit down and watch yourself play again because you just want to play the game, right? I guarantee you if you do that for yourself as well as play with your team and do your team review and stuff, you will skyrocket.
I'm Devin. I'm Diamond 2 right now, and I generally work as like I have my own team on the side I play with sometimes. I work as like the IGL, and I was wondering more about what you had to do to get to the point where like you were coaching or like the things that you're focusing on as a coach and things like that.
Where I would start, if I were you, is if you want to like get into it right away, you should let your team know that you would like to coach instead. And so that way that they can find an IGL. If you want to start getting into coaching, like work with your team right now. You know, you guys already have the bond of playing together and stuff, and start doing a review. You know, you don't have to start it off as this massive review that like we do as pros. Start it off with like a 30-minute review, and I would start by watching your team's demos. Obviously, you'll be recording, right? So, and just listing off small things that you see that could be better within the 30-minute review you guys have before scrims. Just like show them. There's nothing better than visual learning, as well as like your pointers at what you see that you think they could do better, and just start off like that. And I guarantee you that like as you keep watching the game, you'll have like a deeper understanding of what's going on. Watch pro games as well, and take notes on them. So you're like, this is weird. Like I think this guy could have done something better. And then you can take the things that you saw in the pro games and apply it to your team. All of this stuff combined will make you a better player, as well as like start progressing you into be able to coach.
Well, first, my name is Memphis Elliott. I go by Memphi. I go between like Immortal 1 and Immortal 3. I'm pretty, I go up and down, I solo queue a lot, and I really don't know what I could do to move forward. Like as someone that wants to go pro and go into a pro scene, I don't know where I should go next.
When you solo queue, do you ever play with people and be like, well, that guy was like pretty cool, like we had fun. Yeah. Do you like add them?
Yeah, I had a few guys.
So like the way that a lot of people do it and they get noticed is they start adding people and playing with them and stuff like that, and you start like networking between the different people you've added, and then there'll be a point where you have people that you've added and you kind of get like a group together, and you create like a group of like-minded players that like to play the game, improve, and have a good time doing it. And when you have that, that's when you see like you can start forming your own team, or you can start entering into things like VCT, the Nerd Street stuff. My biggest thing for you is you got to start networking and building friendships with people. This is why it's like very important to like be a nice person to people in game. All the people that are toxic and leave like bad taste in other people's mouth, like that's just not the way to go about it. Be a good person in the game. I guarantee you that like opportunities will come to you.
Is it just being able to find those people that have the same motivation?
Yeah, exactly. And you will find those people playing ranked. Like I guarantee it.
Well, my name is Colin. Well, I'm going to go be an assistant coach at the University of Oklahoma for Overwatch and maybe also Valorant. How you go about like coaching people that are like maybe better than you, or like coaching people that are like, that know as much as you. It's like kind of intimidating going into like next year, going into the University of Oklahoma and like coaching those guys.
Okay.
So like, how do you go about that?
And I'll tell you right now, like when I first started started into FaZe, I was just an analyst. I had a lot of work to do. I didn't understand the game as well as I do right now. I had a lot of work to do. And my teammates, Baby Bay, Corey, Raucus, Zachary, Marv, Jimmy, like they knew the game a lot better than I did. So I had a lot of catch up to do. I spent a lot of time figuring out like the game in general. I studied the crap out of it. I watched VODs of pro tournaments, old ones, new ones, took notes. At the same time as my team scrimming, you have to put in more work than your teammates are. But once you hit that point, the lot of work that you thought was a lot will become normal to you, and you'll just be able to like keep shooting up and up and up. My advice to you is put as much effort as you can with school, and improve yourself. So when your teammates get off to go, party or do ranked, maybe spend an extra hour, and that extra hour over the course of 7 days is 7 hours, and that's 7 hours of work that your teammates didn't put in that you're learning. So that's my advice to you.
Well, when you look at players, what are the skills that you find that are most important outside of the game skills themselves?
I'll tell you guys right now, you could be the most cracked, amazing aimer in the game, but if you don't have the ability to be cordial with your teammates, be a great teammate, a nice person, you know, get along with your teammates, you won't get picked up by the best orgs. Orgs will take the lesser aimer or the less mechanically gifted player for the player that has the ability to work well with the team as well as put the time and effort into the game.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate
Good
you,
luck
homie.
in
Thank
LPQ.
you.
All good, all good.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you guys.